Hello and welcome to a new video on cryptography for everybody. Today, in this video, we will have a look at the Straddling Checkerboard Cipher. Recently, one of our students finished his bachelor thesis, and in his thesis, he developed different classical cipher components for CrypTool 2. And one of these components is the Straddling Checkerboard. So in this video, we will have a look at the cipher and its implementation in CrypTool 2. I structured this video into different parts. In the first part, I will give you a short introduction to the Straddling Checkerboard Cipher. After that, in the second part, we will see how the Straddling Checkerboard Cipher actually works. Then we will have a short discussion of the security of the Straddling Checkerboard Cipher. And finally, we will have a look at the Straddling Checkerboard Cipher implementation in CrypTool 2. The Straddling Checkerboard Cipher was invented by Matteo Argenti in the 16th century. The Argentis, Matteo and his uncle Giovan Battista, were the principal designers of ciphers of the Papal States. And you can say that the Argentis were the experts in their time, because they developed the most secure ciphers in that time. And after they quit working for the Papal States, the ciphers the Papal States used were much worse than the ones the Argenti developed for them. And I tried to find a picture of Matteo Argenti, a drawing or so, but everywhere on the internet where I searched, I didn't find any picture of the Matteo Argenti or of his uncle. And so I had to put this picture here into my slides. And I found a nice page from cathopedia.org, and there you have the Secretatio della Cifra, and on that page you can see all the secretaries of the Vatican or the Papal States, and there these two are also mentioned. It's quite interesting, but as I said, it's Italian. A straddling checkerboard is a device for converting plain text to digits, and it creates a variable length encoding or encryption, and here we speak of a prefix-free code. Prefix-free code means that no code words, so no digits, are a code word that are part of another or of the beginning of another code word. And finally, the cipher allows fractionating of the ciphertext. That means, for instance, that you encrypt a plaintext letter to 2 digits, and then you could use transposition to cut these 2-digit ciphertext symbol into 2 pieces, so to separate the digits. How does the Straddling Checkerboard Cipher work? Before we can use a Straddling Checkerboard, we have to create one. And as I already said, the Straddling Checkerboard Cipher maps plaintext symbols to 1 or 2 digits or to even more. A key consists of an alphabet, for instance, derived by a keyword, and the assignment of digits to rows and columns. And here is an example for a straddling checkerboard creation. First, we have to create the alphabet used in the straddling checkerboard. And for that, we use a secret keyword. In my case here, we have secret. And then our alphabet is derived as follows. First, you write the secret word at the beginning of your alphabet, but you omit writing 2 letters at the same time. For instance, the E here, this in secret, appears 2 times, but you remove the second E. And then you write the remaining letters of the alphabet following the keyword. So we have secret and then A, B, D, F, G, and so on. This is our new alphabet. Then you have to select row digits. In our case, we selected 7, 8, and 9. But you can select any digits you want here. And now we come to the checkerboard creation. First, you draw such a table here. And the table has to have 9 columns for the digits here. 1 additional column for the row numbering. And row columns, we need 1 additional as we have digits here. For instance, we have 3 digits, so we need 4 rows here. In the first row, you write nothing, and then you write the digits. And in the first column, you write the digits from 1 to 9. You could reorder these, but that makes no difference. That only reorders our alphabet. Then when you created the table, in the first row, you cross out the digits that you use here for the rows. Why we do this, you will see later. Then you write the secret alphabet into the table, from left to right, from top to bottom. And then you have the straddling checkerboard. And now we see how we could, for instance, encrypt. The S here, you encrypt by a 1, the E by a 2, and so on and so on and so on. And then the B is interesting because the B is 7 and 1. Because for the B, we have at the beginning a digit, so we first write the digit at the beginning here, at the column, and then the row at the row here, and then the column digit. So we have 7 and 1. For D, we have 7 and 2. For F, we have 7 and 3. And now you see the interesting part of the Straddling Checkerboard Cipher. The interesting part is that we can encrypt, or that we encrypt our plaintext letters to ciphertext numbers with different length, so with different number of digits. And this makes cryptanalysis quite difficult, as we can see later on. Now we have an example encryption and decryption. For the encryption and decryption, we use the straddling checkerboard that we created one slide before. And here I want to encrypt the text "Hello World." How does this work? I marked here every letter in a different color so that you see which plaintext letter corresponds to which ciphertext symbols. So for instance, we want to encrypt the H here. We search for the H in our table. We take the 7 from the left here and the 5 from the top, and then we write 75. For the E, we only have the 2 because on the left side here we have nothing, so we write the 2. And now the interesting part also comes, the L here. We have 2 times L, and with 2 times L, the L here you see is 7, 9. We have 7, 9, 7, 9. So we see that this is still a monoalphabetic substitution. And of course, in the end, we don't send this nice colorful and separated digits to our receiver. We only send the digits without any spaces in the text. And now, how does the decryption work? The decryption works in a similar way. You take the first digit 7 and you look if here in the first column is a 7. If yes, you take this. If there is no 7 in this column here, that would mean we have a 7 here and we have one letter. But we have a 7, so we have to look at the next digit, the 5, and we go to the 5 and we know this is an H. So we have 75 for an H. The next digit is a 2. And with the 2, we have no 2 here on the left, so we have to go directly to the top, to the 2, and we know this is an E. So we have 2 is an E. And we go on and go forth like this. And in the end, we can decipher or decrypt "Hello World." So this is quite easy when you have this table here. Of course, when you don't have this table, this gets this gets difficult. Now let's have a brief look at the security of the Straddling Checkerboard Cipher. And as I already said, the Straddling Checkerboard Ciphers, or the ciphers, are still monoalphabetic substitution ciphers. That means that when we encrypt a letter, it will always be encrypted to the same ciphertext letter. And this means here that our key space size for 26 letters is about 26 factorial, meaning we have 2 to the power of 88.38 different possible keys. This means that a brute force attack on the cipher is impractical due to the key space size. But we know that we can attack monoalphabetic substitution ciphers very easily, and for instance Crypto2 Demo offers a monoalphabetic substitution analyzer. But the main difficulty with the Straddling Checkerboard Cipher is not the monoalphabetic substitution itself. The main difficulty is to find the ciphertext symbols, what we call tokenization. So when we go back one slide, you see here, when you only get this string of digits, you don't know, is the 7 a single ciphertext letter, or is it 75, or maybe 752, or what is it? You don't know where the ciphertext symbols start. You can only know this when you have the straddling checkerboard. So this makes the cryptanalysis of the straddling checkerboard ciphers more difficult than a simple monoalphabetic substitution. But after finding the correct tokenization, the solution is very easy. And of course, when you have a look at the digits, you could, for instance, see that you have here 2 times 79. So this could be a double ladder. So like LL, TT, SS and so on. And you can search for these. You could search for double letters, for instance, like IE or so. And then when you find these, you can get an idea of the tokenization, and then you can try some different tokenization. And when you finally find the correct tokenization, as I said, the solution is very easy. But of course, the cipher can be made much stronger by adding an additional layer of transposition, which introduces the aforementioned fractionation. That means that you cut the 2-digit or maybe even 3-digit ciphertext symbols that you have, and you separate the digits from each another, and that makes it quite hard because you first have to solve the transposition, and after the transposition you have to solve the monoalphabetic substitution. But how can you know which transposition is correct? Because even when you find the correct transposition, you have still to find the correct tokenization. So this makes the straddling checkerboard together with a transposition cipher very difficult. And now, finally, let's have a look at the straddling checkerboard in Crypto2. We will encrypt and decrypt using the new component. I'm here now in Crypto2, and I want to show you the straddling checkerboard cipher. And of course, we have a new template in the template section. And to find the straddling checkerboard, you can just write straddling, and then you see use of the straddling checkerboard. Just open it, and here you have the template. So what do we have here? We have, of course, a plain text input. Then we have a straddling checkerboard component, and this visualizes the straddling checkerboard in a very nice way. Then we have a second straddling checkerboard component for decryption. This is for encryption, this is for decryption. We will see our final ciphertext here, and we will see our decrypted plaintext here. And then we can define the digits of our rows and columns here. I think this is really nice. And we can also define our alphabet here, the plaintext alphabet that we want to use, and we can define a key. And then we have the so-called alphabet permutator. And the alphabet permutator takes an alphabet and a key, and then it writes the key at the beginning of the alphabet and puts the remaining part of the alphabet at the end. And you can also control where to put the key into the alphabet with an offset, and you can define the order of the alphabet, for instance, like ascending or descending. Now let's just test it by clicking on play. And as we can see, the straddling checkerboard component created a nice visualization of the straddling checkerboard here. And also we got our ciphertext and our plaintext. So what we can see here is that we have nearly the same key as used in my presentation. But at the 6th position here, we have a space. And this is because I put a space in that template, because I wanted to be able to also encrypt spaces. So you can add additional letters that you want to have in your alphabet, like a space, for instance. And then you can see here that we have the secret keyword here, then we have the space, and then we have the remaining parts of the alphabet. The component automatically removes the columns that we use as rows, the digits of the columns that we also use as rows. And as you can see here, we have here 3 of these also. And what else do we see? Yeah, as I said, the result is only a bunch of digits. And when you at first get such ciphertext consisting only of digits, it's quite difficult because you don't know, was it a straddling checkerboard? Was it substitution where each plaintext symbol was just substituted by 2 ciphertext symbols? Is it a homophonic substitution, or so on and so forth? And as you also can see, the ciphertext that comes here out has been deciphered or decrypted by the straddling checkerboard component. We can now play a little with this component. We could, for instance, stop this, and then we also put the 6 here, and we get another encryption. Now we have the 6, 7, 8, 9 removed from this here, and we have the 6, 7, 8 here. And since we have enough or not enough, since we have not so many letters here, we don't even get a next row here. But we can adapt our alphabet and, for instance, add digits. And now when we press play, you can see that the digits are also part of the straddling checkerboard. And we could now add the digits here, for instance, 110, and here maybe 56. And now the straddling checkerboard is also able to encrypt digits. And I think this is really nice. The design of this cipher is so simple, but it's really well made, I think, because it allows the encryption to a different amount of digits. So this makes the cryptanalysis hard. And if they would have combined this with a transposition cipher, then I think at that time the cipher would be much, much stronger. And as you can see here in the description of the template, Che Guevara used this cipher also in modern times. The funny thing with Che Guevara is that he also used, as I said, the straddling checkerboard, but he combined it with a one-time pad. So I don't know why he did this, because when you use a one-time pad, you have a perfect secure cipher, and you don't need any additional layer. The only assumption I can make is that he used the straddling checkerboard and then he used one-time pad, but he reused the one-time pad. So when you reuse the one-time pad, of course, it's not very secure anymore. Yeah, and I think you may now, if you like, download the current nightly build of Crypto2. This cipher is available in the current nightly build. And if you want to, you can now play also with this cipher and test it on your own. Yeah, and this is everything I wanted to show you in this short video. I hope you liked it. If yes, please give a thumbs up. If no, you know what to do. Give a thumbs down. Also, if you did not yet subscribe to our channel, please do so, because this really helps us to grow the channel, to make Crypto2 more popular. Yeah, and as I said, thank you very much for watching and see you in the next video.